Nintendo, you're making it really hard to do more non-Nintendo stuff. Alright guys, who's ready for a new Kirby game? This guy is. And on Switch too? Just take my money already, you bastards. I was relatively excited for Star Allies. I love Kirby, and a new game is always welcome. There isn't a legitimately bad game in the series, and Hal seems to be on a roll with these games lately. Seriously, Triple Deluxe and Planet Overbot are my favorite games in the series. The reason why I was only mildly excited for this one, because there was no way they can best Robobot already. Although, that's what I said about Robobot, so who knows? They did release a demo for Star Allies, and I didn't really like it. The ally system felt too clunky, the levels felt too generic, and the 30 FPS felt way too jarring. I was having a blast with the bosses though, so I'm willing to give the full game an honest try. Wow, this game only takes up 3 gigs of space. That's tempting given the Switch is portable, but I think I'll get a physical copy anyway. Actually, the game was sold out on Amazon like a week before release, so digital it is. I'm gonna have to pick up a physical copy eventually though. My shelf feels a little empty without it. Well, let's hope this game is the awesome Kirby norm. The game starts out with these ominous black holes falling from the sky. I doubt this guy will be important later. Meanwhile, Kirby does not care. He's sleeping like usual. A pink heart falls on Kirby and wakes him up. Well, we got nothing better to do. Might as well head towards the ominous doomsday clouds in the distance. That's basically all the story we got for now. Whatever. Let's go on a homicidal rampage for literally no reason like usual. Star Allies has an actual story later, but for now, this is all we got. The story in Star Allies isn't anything to write home about, but there was a bigger emphasis on it like in Robobot. But the graphics in Star Allies are absolutely gorgeous. They were not playing around with making this game look pretty. The game doesn't run at 30 FPS to compensate, which would be fine if the menus in Gold games didn't run at 60 FPS. All it really does is make the performance feel less consistent. I wouldn't have even noticed the lower frame rate, everything was 30 instead of most of it. You do get used to this, so it's luckily a pretty minor complaint. The music weirdly isn't as catchy as other Kirby games though. It sounds good, but none of it really got stuck in my head like past games. There is some music from older games and extra stages, but it's pretty weird how I enjoyed those more than the new tracks. The gameplay is pretty much your average Kirby game. In short, it's pretty damn fun. You run around, kill a bunch of enemies, take their powers for yourself, solve some optional puzzles. It's Kirby. Singing is pretty much all you need to know what's going on. It's simple and easy as cool, but it's still fun and cathartic to plow through everything. Just like in Superstar, you can turn enemies into your allies that can fight for you. It's done a bit differently this time, however. In Superstar, you have to give up your code and ability to create your helper, but in Star Allies, you just have to press X to throw a hold at them. Star Allies lets you have up to 3 partners, so you can really wreak havoc on all of these unsuspecting bad guys. Other players can control these partners as well, and it really makes the game feel like some weird fusion between Superstar and Return to Dreamland. You can even recruit major characters to join you like Bandana Waddle Dee, King Dedede, and Meta Knight in Dream Palaces. While there's only 3 Dream Friends right now, there's more on the way with 3 updates. On March 28th, you can recruit Mox and the Animal Buddies. Sorry about that, almost had an anxiety attack back there. There's also these special pedestals that give you team-up abilities, like rolling into a giant ball, forming a bridge for these key enemies that I never knew the name of, and even a friend train. Hal, you really missed the opportunity to call it the love train. These are here mainly for variety. Nothing wrong with shaking things up every now and then. My favorite of these has to be the Friend Star. This turns the game into a 2D shooter. You can even switch pilots and shoot out different kinds of ammo depending on which ability you have. It's just a really fun deviation from the normal gameplay. This ally system doesn't just give you more firepower, it also lets you give elements to your copy abilities. For example, if you got Sword, you can hold it up and someone with fire can give you Scissor Sword. Or maybe you can give you Hammer Electricity, or Ice Cutter, or... Actually, I think you get the point. It's similar to fusing abilities like in Kirby 64, but it's much more streamlined. Instead of each combo being its own unique ability, you're just adding an element to your current ability. Some combos give you a single attack instead of powering up your ability. Like if you add water, ice, or wind to stone, stone turns into a giant curling stone. Or blowing ice into water gives you this icicle spear thing. The combo attacks felt mostly useless, but I thought it was really cool how ESP can lift up stone electrified for you if you don't have a zap hammer on you. The abilities that can be powered up would seem like the better powers, but they feel just as strong as the ones that can't. At first, I found myself swapping powers left often because I had a combo I really liked, but I eventually ended up swapping out powers like I usually do once the novelty wore off. That's not to say this isn't awesome, because it is. Just don't be afraid to swap out abilities every now and then. I figured that you have to use specific combos for the optional puzzles, but the puzzles this time around are surprisingly open-ended. Like if you want to light fuses, you could use fire, but you can actually use anything with a fire element instead. Or for this puzzle, you're supposed to use Parasol to block the flow of water for the fuse to go by, but you can actually just freeze the water instead. I think there was only 1 or 2 puzzles in the entire game where you needed a specific ability combo, and even then it was insanely obvious to figure out what ability you needed to use. But puzzles are entirely optional, so you can ignore this part of the game if that's not your thing. But to be honest, the new abilities in this game are just alright. Festival is just another screen nuke like Crash, but this one buffs up everyone's attack, so that's cool, I guess. Spider is really good on normal enemies, but on bosses I found it to be a little useless. It feels cool to run around like you're Spider-Man, but it feels less practical than Ice, which is more common and essentially does the same thing to enemies. Painter is pretty cool, but I didn't really care for this one either. I'm not sure if I'm missing something, but it doesn't feel very fluid to use compared to other abilities. I really like Staff though. It's super strong, and it feels really good beating up everything with a stick. Weirdly, it's the only new ability that can gain elements. There's some old abilities to return as well, like Yo-Yo from Superstar and Cleaning from Dreamland 3. I didn't really care about Cleaning, but I'm glad about Yo-Yo returning. I also really liked Water. It may not be new, but I never did play Return in Dreamland, so it's new to me, I guess. A weird quirk about this game is that a lot of abilities are weirdly omitted. Like, where's Wheel? Where's Needle? Why did you finally bring back Mirror to immediately get rid of it again? Although I do see where they're coming from. None of the abilities in Stole Allies are blatantly overpowered. Like how with Leaf, Ultra, and Mirror you can just negate all damage by guarding. None of those abilities are back. I can only imagine how powerful Zap Ultra would be. I'm not sure why Spear was omitted though. Bandana Waddle Dee is already Spear, so it probably wouldn't have been that much effort to do. But the weirdest omission of them all is easily Spark. Yeah, Spark has been replaced by Plasma. There's nothing wrong with Plasma, but they combined Spark and Plasma into one ability what felt like eons ago. I'm not sure why they'd get rid of it all of a sudden. It's not just a name change either, Spark is just straight up gone. It's not like Spark was overpowered or anything, so why get rid of it? I mean, it's not that big of a deal or anything, but it's such a weird decision. Another weird thing with this game is that there's only 4 worlds this time around. Each world is long, but it does feel a tad strange having so little of them. Each level feels longer than normal as well. As for the length, it's still pretty average for a Kirby game. I finished about 6 hours and 100% of the campaign in about 7. Speaking of completion, the collectibles this time around come in the form of puzzle pieces. This is where those puzzles I talked about earlier come in. These are entirely optional, they don't seem to do anything other than unlock artwork. The big ones found in each level cover the pink sections of the puzzle, while the small pieces seem to randomly fill out the blue spaces. You're not going to be able to fill out the artwork entirely with one playthrough, which is kind of annoying, but they don't seem to do anything important as far as I know, so whatever. Stole Allies brings back the biggest switches to find as well. Whoops, wrong switch. There we go. These switches unlock some extra levels to play, which has even more puzzle pieces. They play music from older games in these stages, and again, it feels weird how I enjoy the older tracks more than the new ones. Speaking of puzzles, bosses don't have their own level anymore. Instead, they're at the end of stages. But can we just take a moment to appreciate Swole DDD? Seriously, dude, have you been working out? Jeez, you've been hanging out with Mugshot too much. Meta Knight being able to split himself into 4 was pretty cool too. The bosses in this game aren't really anything special, but they're still fun to fight. The final boss is easily the best, but it being as awesome and over the top as always. If you're actually curious about this game's story, it basically amounts to these 3 magic generals gathering Dark Hearts for their boss Highness. So, what are they planning to do with these hearts? Trying to revive the destroyer of worlds, of course. Wait, did I read that right? Oh, and they seem to come from the same place as Dark Matter. Fun. This son of a bitch is even wishing their Dark Lord a happy birthday. Highness is one crazy dude. It doesn't help that he looks like a cult leader. Wait, he probably is. Kirby kisses his ass, and in an act of desperation, he sacrifices himself and the 3 magic generals to bring the Destroyer of Worlds back to life. This game is rated E10. After donning a new friend ability, it's time to fight the goddamn Destroyer of Worlds, Void Termina. Oh my god, even the name sounds menacing. Like, is that a boss in Breath of the Wild? It might as well be. Hal, we know that the Switch is more powerful than the Wii U. Please stop rubbing it in our faces. This fight is full on 3D and you have to shoot Termina's weak spot to damage him. The reticle locks onto the weak point, so you really only have to worry about dodging attacks. But I have to say, this boss kicks some serious ass, even if it is insanely easy. Later in the fight, you have to go inside of it and beat up his heart, and wait a minute, is the final boss cute? Not some hellish abomination like usual? Alright then. You beat up his heart and god damn it, it is some hellish abomination. Oh, is that Dark Matter? I already had one anxiety attack because of Dreamland 2 in this video. I am not having another one. Some anime-esque power struggle happens, you mash some buttons, all of Kirby's friends band together and beat the crap out of this thing. The day is saved, yada 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 the end. Wow, these final bosses keep escalating higher and higher. Kirby's defeated an alien that stole some nightmare crown, a giant bee-plant hybrid thing, a giant planet-sized clock in space, and now the Destroyer of Worlds. All effortlessly. What's next? Is Kirby going to kill God himself? Are Kirby and his friends going to transcend mortality and become gods? Is Kirby going to turn it all down for another piece of strawberry shortcake? I don't even know anymore. That's the only thing that can top the spectacle of a final boss. Nothing is too over the top in this series anymore. Screw it, let's make the next game an FPS with Doom levels of gore. There's no way Hal can outdo killing the Destroyer of Worlds using
the real superpower of teamwork!
You can't. It's just too cheesy and over the top that you just can't. What drugs were these guys on? And, can I have some of it? Well, after you beat the game, you unlock one more level to play through. It's a bit standard and long, but it's fun anyway. Oh, a giant Kirby statue. That's cute. Wait, is Green Greens playing on my controller using HD Rumble? What witchcraft is this? Burn the witch. No, Kevin, don't. These things are too expensive to burn. By finishing the game, you also unlock Guest Star mode. It's essentially this game's equivalent of Meta Nightmare or DDD Tour. Play through an abridged version of the game with you being locked to one ability. It's a fun mode, but it's not too much different from the main game. Finish Guest Star once, you can play as Dream Friends in it. So if you need some Meta Nightmare in your life, that's how you do it. The other mode unlocked is called the Ultimate Choice. This is basically just the arena from other games. A boss rush with limited healing items. What I like most about this version is there's actually a difficulty setting. If you want a boss rush but you don't want to fight all of them, then there you go. If you beat Guest Star mode with any character, you unlock higher difficulties to play on. So if you need your challenge fix, this is it. The extra modes in this game are pretty solid this time around, so if you don't like the length, just play this stuff to extend your playtime. This is a pretty great entry in the series, but it does have one small issue. Even by Kirby standards, this game is easy. Kirby's always been easy, but it feels a little too easy this time. Yeah, I know Kirby games are supposed to be easy, but it felt way easier than usual. Throughout the whole campaign, I only died like 8 times. The puzzles don't even hold either. They make the solution so obvious it's hard to figure it out for yourself. The cakewalk difficulty isn't a big deal, but I still would have liked it to be a tad harder. Other than the difficulty, this is a great game here. May not be the best game in the series, but Still Allies is still easily in my top 5. It really feels like taking the best parts from the best games and meshing them together while still adding enough new to keep things fresh. It's got the partners from Superstar, some light ability fusion from Kirby 64, the co-op from Return to Dreamland, the general feel of Triple Deluxe, and even a more cohesive plot like Robobot. The $60 price tag may be a bit steep for some, but if you're willing to take the plunge, you'll be in for a great time. If 6 hours doesn't seem long enough to you, just wait for a price drop or sale. But hey, I paid full price and still got my money's worth, so that's good enough for me at least. I would say to try out the demo, but that demo is not representative of the full game. It's a weird hodgepodge of different parts of levels, and it just doesn't mesh well. I hope the demo doesn't affect sales, because even though I love the full game, I still didn't like the demo. This has been the Flame Assassin Guy, and Kirby Still Allies is a game about convincing your enemies to fight by your side. What's more wholesome than that? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next mission.